After movie theaters all over the world were closed due to the COVID-19 outbreak, cinema fans everywhere are celebrating going out to their favorite theaters once again. Today, we're going to take a look at Great White and take a deep dive into this creepy shark fest. Great White was released in July earlier this year, just in time to celebrate Shark Week. It had a release both in cinemas and online streaming platforms. Since the release of Jaws in 1975, shark-centric horrors have been a frequently seen niche in the genre, and Great White is a decent offering. The movie opens with a young couple blissfully enjoying each other's company in the beautiful coastal waters and unaware of their surroundings. They swim, kiss, and take cute pictures together, all the while with no idea that they are being stalked by a huge monster lurking just below the surface. The giant shark attacks, and the camera pans back to the thick red blood, ruining the pristine waters. Kaz and Charlie are another couple not too far away. Both of them have a love for the sea and nature. As a marine biologist and an ocean enthusiast, they own and operate a seaplane business, ferrying passengers across Australian waters to visit and photograph the beautiful oceanic wonders that surround them. Their friend Benny often accompanies them on these short trips as a chef, preparing delicious meals for the wealthy clientele who want to be spoiled on luxury outings. But Kaz and Charlie are having trouble. They're running out of money, and we first meet them to see how hard they're struggling. It's easy to feel sorry for them. Both the pair care so deeply about the environmental world around them and each other, but it can be hard to make ends meet off of something you are passionate about. Their seaplane business isn't paying the bills, and things are getting difficult. All of a sudden, just when they need it most, the phone rings. A potential client wants to inquire about a trip to a local cove, a short plane ride away. It's beautiful, remote, and one of the most important places to the customer's family. The clients are pretty well-to-do, and Kaz and Charlie think that this trip might be the answer to some of their problems. It isn't long into their exploration of the beautiful cove and reef when the group make a rather gruesome discovery. They land the plane and find to their horror that a dead body has washed up on the shore. The group obviously have no idea who he is, but we can recognize him as the blissfully unaware young man from the beginning scene who was attacked by the shark. The wound pattern on the man's body is recognizable to Charlie and Kaz, who have spent a lot of time at sea, and they figure out pretty quickly that the young man met his fate in the mouth of a large shark. The group calls the Coast Guard to report the body, but instead of heading back to the mainland to help direct the authorities, Charlie decides instead to look for any other bodies, or hopefully a survivor. They find the young man's phone and manage to keep it working long enough to pull up a photo of him and his girlfriend. We know what happened to them at the beginning, and her fate doesn't look too good. The group decides that they want to see if they can track down this young lady, and they set off once more. Joji isn't happy about this decision, as he doesn't want to put himself or his wife at risk. But let's be honest, this is less about his wife and more about keeping himself safe. He and Benny exchange a few harsh words on the topic, but eventually they settle on keeping an eye out for the yacht they were in from the sky. The yacht is eventually spotted, and Kaz lands the plane skillfully so they can get a closer look. Unfortunately, the small boat has flipped over, making it extremely difficult to explore. It's possible that an air pocket could be inside, keeping the young woman in the picture alive, and Benny decides to dive in to explore the wreck to see if she needs help. The remaining four wait on the seaplane, unable to do anything but hold still and wait for Benny to come back. Benny, meanwhile, makes a rather grim discovery. He finds the girl, but she is in even worse shape than her boyfriend, with her poor body being half-eaten by the shark. Benny heads up to the surface to report finding the corpse to the rest of the group, but he isn't alone. By the time he reaches the surface and is back on the plane, the enormous great white shark that killed the couple has followed him. In an attempt to reach the delicious-looking party of five, the shark attacks the seaplane, attempting to make it sink. One of the floats on the side is damaged, and the plane starts to sink beneath the waves. The terrified group head to the dinghy, which isn't a great option, but it's all they got. The equipment on the life raft is nothing compared to what it was on the seaplane, and the group is in trouble. There's a compass to help Charlie navigate and a pair of oars, but it's a much tougher journey without the technology of the plane they had to leave behind. Matters only get worse when Michelle falls asleep whilst on rowing duty, and the oar slips out of her hands into the sea. Luckily, Kaz is able to dive in to get it back, but it is a scare the group would rather do without. It doesn't help at all that Joji can't control his jealousy, and Benny talking to his wife Michelle pushes him over the edge. The pair end up in an actual fight, and Benny gets shoved overboard into the water. The shark, who has been stalking them the whole time, drags him beneath the surface to his death. It is still hungry, however, and rams the dinghy, knocking the rest of the group into the water. They fight to get back into the boat, but Joji doesn't make it in time and is picked off by the shark. Things are looking bleak for the remaining three, as the food and one of the oars got flung into the water. The shark reappears, its telltale triangular fin making its path through the ocean. Charlie spots another fin and realizes that there have been two sharks following them this whole time. After a restless night's sleep, dawn comes and Michelle sees land on the horizon. Could they manage to get to it safely? The raft sustained some damage from the scuffle the night before, and it's slowly losing air and sinking. The three decide that Charlie and Kaz will try to distract the sharks by overloading their sensory system, while Michelle makes a break for it and swims for land. As the couple realizes they might not make it, Kaz reveals to Charlie that she's pregnant and they're going to have a baby. The pair manage to take out one of the sharks, with Kaz hitting it with a flare gun and Charlie stabbing it in the head with a dive knife. He tries to shoot the second shark with his flare gun, but he misses, a mistake that proves to be fatal as he's killed by the shark. Whilst the last shark is busy eating her boyfriend, Kaz swims away from Michelle, and the two manage to get to safety atop an old ruined shipwreck. The shark is in pursuit and gets caught in some of the wreckage, enabling Kaz to loosen some of the structure. It comes down on the shark and it is crushed by the wreck, and the two women manage to get to safety. In the closing shots of the film, we see them swim to land, alive and ready to pick up the pieces of the life they have left behind. Whilst watching this movie, it's easy to see the parallels with other shark movies that came before it. Since Jaws, lots of ocean horrors tend to follow similar tropes. The Great White is no exception. It might be a little predictable in places, but the tension building through amazing camera work is top-notch. The shark is created entirely through CGI, and it looks pretty realistic. Unlike other shark movies like The Shallows, Jaws, and The Reef, Great White chooses to show the shark off at every opportunity. While some people might think that it lowers the tension because you can see the threat, others believe that being able to see what's coming for you is just as scary. Towards the end, you can't help but root for the survivors to make it. But the fact that this movie has no problem killing off characters means that nobody is truly safe. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, we'll see you next time.